Beautiful people, what's up? What's up? Welcome to my show. It's your boy Smith. Look, today is going to be a challenge, but we're going to work through it because I got my grandson right here. Yes, grandson. No, she's not. Here we go. She's going. You gotta go out there and talk to her. Look at that. We doing it live on the run. We doing it live on the run. My grandson's right behind me. He's got some things going on the TV, but he's gonna be cool, And it's good that he's here because again, the things that I do are for him, and for the young brothers that's out there like him. So again, welcome to my show. I'm your boy Smith. This is Smith, the speaker, on my YouTube channel. Before we go anywhere, man, click that like. Hit the subscribe button, chime in, share all of this because everything I do is for young brothers to listen and get some free game. A lot of the organic nature of the things that I do, I speak to a lot of different people in different institutions, and I always get, well, we don't have the funds, or we gotta do this red tape and this bureaucracy to go through this to get these young people this, that, and the third. And I got tired of hearing that, so I just do it on my own. I give away as much free game as possible, and this is part of it. And this is the last show of the series about relationships. Today's topic is building a healthy relationship with yourself. Before we get started, go check out Bruh. That's what sponsors this show. It's a nonprofit where kids come first. They are the cause. Everything that gets done over there is free math tutoring, free career development, free STEM programs. Go tap in. It is what it is. They get down. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I'm your boy Smith. We at 9 o'clock. We're going to be out of here by 10 a.m. PST because I know these cats want to watch football and enjoy their Sunday, and I want to make sure that I'm mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, house cleaning. Respect each other's opinions. Only one person talking at a time, and mute your cell phone. That's all I got to say. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. Today is so phenomenal for me. So I got a special shot right here. That's to my pops, because that's the man that gave me life to be a black man that I am. So, pops, I appreciate you. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys joining the show. Myron, what's up, man? Talk to me. Where you at? How you living?
What's up, Smith? I appreciate the invite, man. Hey, living large, baby, living large. I appreciate you, bro. You've been doing a lot of beautiful things for the community. Please keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Norm, what's up, man? Where you at? How you living?
You know what? Any day above ground is a good day. So that's the way I take it every day. And compared to most, I'm doing okay. So
Facts.
Life is good.
Love it. Love it. Appreciate you joining me. What's up, my man? How you living? Where you at, man?
I'm retired.
Say less. Say less. Say less. Hey, so look here. When you retired, you don't have to say where you are and how you living. But it all goes in with retirement. We living great. We doing good.
That's it.
And it's a blessing, man. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you making time for your nephew and my shenanigans. Let's get to it real quick. Again, these questions are in no order. I'm just going to throw them out there. Answer how you want to. The biggest challenge that you experienced growing up as a young black male. Talk to me. The biggest challenge. Woo, yeah. Come on now.
Yeah.
I don't do things regular.
I'll go.
Come on.
And I was lucky. I think the biggest challenge, and maybe things are changed now, but was looking at role models that society had provided. And lucky enough, had my dad, military guy, who made sure we stayed on the straight and narrow. So he was the primary role model because all the other images weren't the most positive, or they were limiting. So, that I think was probably a big challenge for me. But I'll tell you real quickly, and we can get to this later, but I think every person of color should go to Atlanta. Because what you'll find is that there are people who look like us in all types of professions. So you will burst that limited view of what you think a black man or a woman can only be. And the first time I went, I was probably 30-ish, and it was I had tears coming out of my eyes because I
Wow.
saw so many people doing things that most people of color had never seen a black person doing. And granted, you can say, that happens, but until you see it, I know for a lot of young people growing up, it is hard to imagine. And so for
Absolutely.
me, that was the biggest challenge was, my role model was my dad. And there were a couple others, but I mean, as a black kid,
Yeah.
he was the one. So that's
Yeah.
my take.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Anybody else? Biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge was for me. Oh, go ahead.
It
Go
was
ahead,
also finding a role model, but the main thing was finding a career to support yourself through all these years you get ready to go to. Not having to rely on others and being able to know that you in the career would finance you in your coming years. So I think finding a good career had a lot to do with it too.
Deep. I still think that's going on. Thank you, Unc.
For me, I think not having my father in the house, my mother and father were separated, and not having him there, he supported me, but he's well from afar, right? And even though he supported me, it's still challenging, especially when you're young in Oakland. You need, like I said, you need a lot of guidance because mom's, does the best she can, with working two jobs, trying to, keep the income coming in, and I live in Oakland, so I was wilding out, so I ain't gonna lie. But not having that father there, for the structure, really just to push me to myself to the potential of just baseball, basketball, football, what I wanted to do. We of course, the neighborhood kids, we taught ourselves. We didn't know trainers, we didn't know coaches, to a time it came. But at the same time, I think if I had, my dad in the house, it would have been like, he would have kept me more structured with pursuing my career as far as, maybe being an athlete. Because I was surrounded by a lot of in my neighborhood, like Gary Payton, Paul Pierce lived in my neighborhood. I used to babysit him.
Wow.
A lot of those famous athletes that's been in my surroundings, and I, by me having a single mom, I was there, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's all good. And you know what, man, I'm so glad to have you three on here to speak on that because it's so important. Because what I get, just real quick, the ATL story, because like I feel you. I went there in 1999, and it was I looked around and I couldn't believe so many positive black folks doing great things because again, like Myron said, being raised in Oakland, it wasn't necessarily that, you walking through the streets of Oakland, as my uncle can attest to this, you walk down one street, it's the East Bay Dragon. You walk down another street, it's the Black Panthers. You walk down another street, it's this, that, and the third. And so, and I'm not saying they're negative. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a different environment. You know what I'm saying? And to Unc's point about the careers, again, that's why I'm doing what I do, because a lot of these young folks, they don't even know that you can be these amazing things. And I share this story real quick. Growing up on my street in East Oakland, there was no city council member, there was no doctor, there was no chancellor or dean of admissions. So how can I be these things if I don't see these things? You know what I'm saying? So representation matters. And all you guys touched on it to my next question in a kind of different way. And I'm throwing it out there. Again, chime in if you want, don't if you want to. What was the relationship with your dad like, and how did it shape your view of the world?
I'm going to disappear for 1 second. I got a charger. My computer's about to.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'm going to think about why I go.
There you go. What was the relationship with your dad, and how did it shape your view of the world?
As far as my dad was, I again, since he wasn't there, but I had a split life. I had a city life. I had a country life. Because after my mother and father got a divorce, my father moved back to the country, Madeira, where he did some farming with his dad, and so in the summers or breaks, that's where I was at. But overall, he had a strong value of work, right? A work ethic, which a lot of kids don't have nowadays. The work ethic was so strong. This is how you, if you don't get a good education, this is how you gonna end up, right?
Right.
Shoveling this, shoveling that, So you're gonna make money, but guess what? It's a different way of making money, right? You can be in a suit and tie, or you can be in this field with a shovel. So it's been his work ethic. Like I said, he taught me hard when I was with him. Like this is the value of $1. This is how you gonna make $1.
Yeah.
Because when I came back to Oakland, everybody thought I sold drugs and everything, but he paid me like an actual man because I worked like an actual man. So that was huge. That was huge right there.
Hey, dog. Hey, Myron, man, that is so phenomenal. Because I share the same sentiment. You know what I'm saying? My pops didn't live in a house with me, but like I would go back east every summer and I work for him. And you see the work ethic, you know what I'm saying? And he paid me like a man. I get like $100 a week, 15, 16 years old. He paying me cash, $100, like really teaching me some financial literacy. Like if you want this, you got to work for it. And it's crazy that you say that, because just this morning I hit grandson who's 4 years old with like, look here, bro, you got a life lesson coming to you right now. If you want to roll with Peepaw, you need to get up, brush your teeth, and wash your face. Because when I roll, I roll. I'm not stepping and I'm not waiting. We ain't sitting around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's lessons to this life if you listen to the cats. Get up. There's an ethic to it. It's how you carry yourself. And I didn't mean to jump in. Go ahead. Talk to me.
What Grampy taught me was a lot of the old ways that got him to be a father, a old father. Stability, again, finances, love, hate, the characteristics of living for the future, stability, things that make you stronger instead of weaker, knowing right from wrong. And I can go on, but mainly stability kind of comes into view because there's so many avenues to travel, and back in the day, we didn't have, like you say, all the availability that we do now. The kids nowadays, boy, I'm glad I wasn't born yesterday because it's bad out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But,
I can, and this is why, man, I'm so humble and grateful that you joined today. I've never even thought about the characteristics of living. The characteristics of living, man, that entails so much. And how did your father go up? I mean, was it verbal, like, hey, do it this way, or did he show you? Was it like, like Myron said? Myron's like, hey, dude, show me how to. Did your father show you, or was it verbal?
At the time, Gramps was retired out the Navy and stuff, just living life, and it was more verbal when we had, when we had our talks. Me being a teen, he prepared me for kind of all of this that was going to be coming my way, so I wouldn't be scared or confused or not knowing what to do, because his last words to me was, "I'm not always going to be here." So I had to listen, and when these obstacles did come my way, I was able to take care of it.
Outstanding, man. I don't even know what to say on that. Norm, go ahead, dog. Jump in, man.
A couple things. One of the things my dad always told me was, get your education. He pushed it on all of us, and I'm not a traditional good book learner.
Okay.
Now we know the different styles of learning, the way the educational system set up.
Say that again. Say that again, Norm. Say that again.
I'm not a great book learner, and the way our society, our educational system is set up, I didn't do well. I could do well socially. I could do well if I could talk and communicate instead of taking a test. I would suck on the test. I mean, but he was always pushing education because he knew the value of it. The second thing was, I'm so impressed with anyone in the military, especially back then, because we got paid once a month. And so everything we got from the commissary had to last the whole month. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, taking care of 4 boys. And so just watching him help keep food on the table, watching him do what he needed to do so that his family wasn't starving. I mean, he didn't always tell me specific things like do this, do that, but it was more of watching him in his actions. And I mean, which was great for me because I'm a visual guy. So if I'm watching him do this, that's how I'm picking up on it. But I think for me, I just was amazed at his work ethic. And when he did, and this is the funniest thing, he said, when I retire, all I want to do is sit on the couch and watch old movies. And when he retired, I was his caregiver for the last 7 years. He lived with us. That's what he did. And I'd say, you want to go do something? And occasionally he'd go, yeah, but he was there watching his old movies because that's what he wanted. That was his retirement. And so everything he did, I watched. And so there are things I learned about bills, like, hey, with 4 boys, you're going to have a lot. Once I asked him, hey, did we give you gray hair? He said, no, the Bills did. And now as I've gotten older, I realized what he was talking about. And so his lessons weren't always verbal. They were more about him doing, because he didn't have that much time to sit there and say, let me tell you what I'm going to do. He had to go out and do it. And so for me, that was a lesson. And the last thing I'll say about, well, it won't be the last thing I say about my dad. He always believed all of us could do anything. I played football, and he still 10 years ago thought I could go to the NFL and be a quarterback and stuff. And I'm like, Dad, no, man, you were good. You can still go. And I'm like, and that is invaluable. That was invaluable.
The positive affirmations being instilled in you, right? Is and I say this, I'll share real quick. Again, my pops didn't live in my house, but like I learned some things. Like I remember clearly, like one time I did some foolish nonsense. Like I was really trying to be grown, and my mom caught me, and she was like, "Call your pops," and I was like, "Damn, I gotta call this man." Yeah, and I called him on the phone. There ain't no cell phones. I had a call at the house phone. I say, Pops, I did this. All that man said to me, I think I was 15, I was 14, 15. All he said to me 3,000 miles away was, don't make me fly out there. I ain't got a lot of money, but I got plastic. Enough said. Enough said. Enough said. You know what I'm saying? So again, you know, when your father talks to you or that role model in your life talk to you, you know, it's for a reason. They've been there. Like Unc said, his dad was preparing him for the characteristics of living. You know what I'm saying? And so we see these things and we value them. We take them to shape how we're gonna go forward in what we're doing, right? And so what Norm said, I want to go to that. So once your dad did tell you or put the impression on you that you could do or be anything, did you believe it?
Oh, I went out and did it. Oh, heck yeah. I mean, when I look back at my life, I laugh and go, this is crazy, all the things I've done. And it's because of knowing that, hey, no matter who the doubters are, I still had people who believed in me through thick and thin. And I definitely believe it. I mean, I've had an adventurous life because of that mindset he gave me. And, Myron, did you and do you believe that you could have been and could be anything you wanted to be?
Oh, absolutely. But I think, like I said, just because I didn't have him in the house, it's like I had my sense of direction was different. Just because, again, the cats that I hung out with, like you said, I didn't have no role models at the time. You're not really to say this is wrong, this is right. But after, when you grow up, and then my uncles, they came in and played a huge role later on, and it's like, man, let me make something of myself here.
There you go.
Sometimes you got to exit certain friends in order to get to the higher goal.
That's
That's
right.
kind of where I had to. That's kind of what I had to do.
Say that. Did you believe that you could be and do anything?
Well, I was sort of led by the hand, so to speak. I took advantage of advice, learning techniques, and as you know, I took the advice of your father and getting into the trucking industry, which again, like my father told me, give me a career that can take care of myself. And it turned out that the trucking industry was going to be my career, which I just retired from about 3 years ago. So, yeah, I believe I could be anything I wanted to be. But like your father told me, pick something that you're going to like doing every day, or you're not going to go there every day.
Say that.
That's a true fact. That is truly a true fact. No matter what it is. Because it's not work if you like it.
That's right. Yeah, man, you're making money too and financing yourself. So that's the road I traveled. I didn't give myself great expectations, but at least I was taking care of myself.
Wait, so man, again, man, you just blow my mind, man. I love talking to you. And so let's just be real transparent here, folks. You can tell this is my uncle, man. And this is like my coolest uncle ever. Like, this is my dog. Like, I ride with my uncle. Like, everything is on everything with him. So when you say because this is a lot of struggles for a lot of black men. I don't care how old you are. When you say you didn't put a lot of expectation on yourself, why not? And this is, again, you don't have to answer that, but I really want to be authentic because there's some young brothers out there who might hesitate to put some expectations on themselves because you don't really want to fail. We don't want to come up short.
You just said it. You don't want to fail. That's why you don't put a lot of expectations on yourself. Because you got it in your head, you want to do this or you want to do that, and you get 3/4 of the way there, and they put so many obstacles in it that you don't make it. And all of a sudden now you don't know what to do. So if you give yourself just a foundation in yourself, other doors will open. You know what I'm saying? That you can choose from, where you won't fail, where little by little, a lot of guys want to come in at the higher level, so to speak. They don't want to start at the bottom like
we all shaking our head.
Do the work.
They want to be the boss already, and it don't work like that,
Right.
You have to start at the bottom no matter what you do and work your way up the ladder. So that's the way. Go ahead.
I was going to say, let me jump in there because one way you can start being the boss, if you're an entrepreneur and it's your business, and that's the path I took, because I was tired of other people and their expectations on me, and also, like my uncle said, I mean, it's amazing what Smitty, your dad, my dad, everyone's dad had to grow up with. They're the limitations put on them. So when he says his expectations weren't quite as high as maybe today's for some people, I get it because I know, here's what you can be based on life back then, and now it's like this.
Right.
What I found for me is, after working a couple jobs when I was very young, I realized the expectations others put on me were pretty much going to prevent me from being at the place where I would be at the top because they controlled it. And so for those of you who want to be the boss and want to start at the top, let me just tell you, the path for you probably is entrepreneurship. But I will also tell you this, it is hard work, harder than working for somebody else. It is you will fail, but suck it up because you're only failing if you're not learning from those mistakes. And that's where a lot of people quit, give up, because they don't learn. They see the mistake as something negative, as opposed to, oh, I just learned not to do it that way.
Right.
And I will tell you, ultimately, the way you get your own freedom is by controlling your destiny and being in charge of it. And I'm not knocking anyone who goes to work in the traditional corporate business, whatever. What I will tell you, though, is that is an alternative path, being an entrepreneur and running your own business. And there's more freedom and more heartache and headache and hard work. But there's, when your friend says, hey, let's go golfing on Tuesday, and you say, I can't because I got to go to work. Well, guess what? I say, hey, what time we going? And that's the type of life I set up for myself. And I would just encourage all of you watching this to at least think about that. But
I see Myron laughing. I see Myron laughing about the golfing. What was you going to say, Mary? Go ahead,
I just wanted to chime in and say that starting out in my career, just driving little trucks and making little deliveries, eventually I stuck with it so long that I was able to elevate myself to driving charter buses, where I was in charge of 52 people on the bus that I had to make sure had a good time.
Yeah. Right.
And that was sort of leadership right there.
That's right.
So through all of that, I learned leadership, communications, and you know what I'm saying? Directions, just from starting out in my career.
Yeah.
Right.
Right now there is a shortage of coach drivers, and they are in demand, and they're worth their weight in gold because this, Uncle.
Yeah.
You got to be driving's great. That's part of it. But everything you just said, that's what everybody who is looking for a coach driver is looking for.
Yeah.
Someone who has all that. And those are tangible, the soft skills, but those are great.
Exactly.
Hey, and this is why I do this. We just gave y'all youngsters free game, man. Go get a job driving the bus, bro. Like it's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Smitty, you can back me up on that one. Huh?
Talk to me. You already know. Right? I was thinking about that the other day. But I want to touch on what Norm said about being an entrepreneur. So I'm talking to some sixth graders, and they say they want to be an entrepreneur, but they don't even know what an entrepreneur is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
can't spell it.
Right. They can't even spell it, right? And so I also say this, and I don't want to get off topic, but it's important because of what Norm said about being an entrepreneur and being a boss. And what Unc said, all bosses ain't leaders, and all leaders ain't bosses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to be a stand-up quality individual to understand that. You know what I'm saying? And so now that leads me into another one of my questions. And this one might be a little bit touchy, only because I know it is. Because it's important, and I see, and I want to say this. This is the reason I asked this question, because here in Solano County, of the 13,000, let me just say this. There's less than 5% black males at the community college, but juvenile hall is 95% young black males. So I'm going to ask you this question, and only answer if you're comfortable. How do you reconcile loving yourself when you're trying to survive your environment to come up as a black man? Because see, we only know this. Other other men don't know this. Yeah, we want to live, we want to play sports, we want to go to school, we want to have fun, but there's an added point, man. And how do you find the time to love yourself and become and have that energy to, I want to do this, like Norm said, I want to own my own business, but man, I got to survive these streets. Talk to me, man. How do we make time for that as young Brez?
Well,
we have to love ourselves, and all of the trauma that I've experienced, that I see these other young brothers going through. We never had the opportunity to love ourselves because we're trying to survive a system, like Norm said. The education system isn't designed for us, and all of it. Some of us are verbal, some of us are visual. How do we take all of that and still make time for ourselves to say, man, I love you, I love me, man, I'm worthy and I'm capable of being great, just like I am right now. Come on, bro, talk to me, man.
I think it's tenacity.
Woo!
You're gonna be able to dodge, come up, learn what you do when you're down. There's a lot of, like I said, obstacles. And if you can't manage yourself around these obstacles, it's going to be very hard to reach your destination. Loving yourself comes first. If nobody loves you, you gotta love you. That's
say that, say that.
And I guess that's what helps you along the way is keeping yourself number one.
Now you said it perfectly. You said managing yourself. That's deep. Put some thought into that.
Okay.
I think it's a mindset, right? It has to be a mindset, right? Because again, if you, like I said, had a mindset that like it's going to be good, it's going to be bad days, it's going to be bad weeks, bad months, bad years, but if you keep the mindset of focus on you when it does get bad, because it's easy to give up. We all know it is easy to give up, but at the same time, you got the mindset is I got to focus on me first, and then family second, and everything else. You know, it is what it is.
Hey, Myron. Hey, Myron. You know, and I know we done ran across a lot of athletic cats in our days. Me and you being friends.
Right.
Is mindset? Is it internal? Are you born with that, or can you learn it, or do you need to learn it?
So that's a great question. Like I'm going to speak on myself. It's just experience, right? It's like the environment that you're in. Like I said, if you're in an environment that just totally struggling, it's like, man, it's hard to keep that mindset of positivity, right? Because it's a struggle. But at the same time, you know, myself, what I learned is people struggling, like, man, I can't be like that, or I don't want to be like that. It's like I got to find a better way out, or I got to find a better way to do this or that. That's where I think the mindset comes in, because again, it's easy to go left or right, and if you go left or right, like I said, that could be your future or something even worse, right?
Say that. Go ahead, Norm. I hear you.
Okay.
Come on, man. Come on.
I think a couple things. One is resiliency. So, you know, everyone's going to get knocked down. And I mean, everybody, white, black, green, yellow, whatever. So the secret is knowing that, okay, when you get knocked down, sit there for a second, take a breath and get your butt back up and stop whining about being knocked down, because that's part of life. Second thing is, I think you have to, love yourself, but also I think you have to be smart about loving yourself. There are those who love themselves so much that they ignore the truth. They distort the reality. There are plenty of men of color, white men in prison because they couldn't control their emotions. They couldn't control their feelings and act it out in a moment. And because of that, they are behind the wall. And what I would tell people is that think about in that moment when the world's against you, you're pissed off, and somebody says something, does something. Are you reacting to that person in that moment, or all the things that have gone the opposite way? And you're striking out, and because you've done that, guess what? You end up locked up. That's what I see. I've been into a couple of correctional facilities, and I look at most of them and go, wait a second, tell me about how you got here. And guess what happens? A lot of them will say, I was hanging out with the wrong person.
Right.
And that right there says to me, you didn't think enough of yourself to make your own decisions. You let somebody else. Second thing was, I said something, did something, shouldn't have done something. I lost control, which I get it, but learn to bite your tongue. Or to walk away, or to not let a situation determine if you're a man or not, because a lot of times I've got to step up and fight and throw because I think that will make me a man. And the reality is, no, it's just going to hurt your bones, because when you hit somebody, it does hurt. And walking away, those who are calling you names really aren't your friends or supporters. So why are you worried about what they're thinking? Your friends will be the ones saying, come on, man, let's get out of here. That's what I'm going to walk with, because he or she is saying this is not going to turn out well. The other thing is, stop looking to others to validate who you are. And you know what? What are you doing to enhance your skills so that you are, one, hireable, or can run a business, and that takes hard work. And a lot of us see the easy stuff on TV, or what we think is easy. We don't see the hard work. You guys are old enough to, everyone thought Jordan was a natural. No, Jordan's out there practicing. He's practicing. And anyone who is a superstar in any industry, whether it's singing, acting, they're all practicing. We never see that. And so if you want to be successful, it doesn't just happen. You've got to practice. You got to do the work. And so in that moment, when you think the world is against you, guess what? It probably is, because that's the way you see it, as opposed to, gosh, what a great opportunity. I know living today, the times seem like they're chaotic and crazy, and they're because I don't want to cuss. But
it's
I will tell you, if we were to talk to, we talked to Uncle Guy here and to my dad and your dad, and tell me, is it better now versus then? I bet you they would go, are you kidding me? You guys have got it so much easier than we
absolutely.
So don't tell me about how everyone's against you. Trust me, there were more against them decades ago. And here's the last one to tell you. There are plenty of people who come across the oceans to get their ass here. Because land of opportunity and prosperity, no matter what, with our shortcomings, and they learn how to deal. And the rest of you have to learn how to deal with it.
Talk to me, cuz.
Important thing. Get your butt up when you get knocked down and say, let me dust myself off. And guess what? I know there's a way. I just haven't found it yet. So,
hey, like Mac Dre said, dust myself off like I just stole third. Real quick on that, never heard it, but I love it. Smart loving. And I say this to young people, and I say this to everybody. Don't get fooled by unconditional love. That's to me, that doesn't make any sense. You have to have conditional love. You have to have boundaries, and you have to have expectations of yourself and of others, because unconditional love becomes an enabler to allow people to take you down the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? So understand that, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys' time. We're about to wrap it up, but I got two more quick ones if I could.
Sure.
Off the old question, but I'm going to change it because it's important to understand the age frame. What would you tell your 14-year-old self? 16 doesn't work, because 16, you're already in high school and you already formulated some ideas. 14, you're still in middle school. You're about to transition to high school. What do you tell your 14-year-old self? Hey, all my questions got y'all today. I love myself today.
I would tell you that high school is okay. It is not the be all, the end all. It is not the place where you have to be stuck, and it doesn't set your tone for the rest of your life. It's a chapter, and you know what? Some people it's a good chapter. For other people, it's not a great chapter. But the great thing is it's only a chapter, and there are those people who get stuck living that chapter as their entire life. And then there are those who've had a great chapter and they still want that chapter to be their entire life. It's like, no, the book has many more chapters. Don't get stuck in a chapter, whether it's good or bad. And so that's what I would say to myself. It's like, hey, the next couple of years, It's going to be full of adventure, learning, upsets, failures, learning. But guess what? It's only one phase, one chapter. That's what I would have said to myself.
Go ahead.
I would have said, "Oh boy, here comes tomorrow." Oh boy, here comes tomorrow. Now I know why I got 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 mouth. So I'm going to look and listen and shut up.
That too.
That's for real.
Y'all understand why this is my coolest uncle ever, man. I can't even have a conversation with this man because even when he's being serious, it's just hilarious in his delivery. Like, here comes tomorrow. Excuse me, man. You got me. The Scarface said, "Don't overlook your tomorrows. Only a foolish man does, because they eventually come." So, man, that was powerful, bro. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Myron. What do you tell your 14-year-old self, bro?
Hey, just in a nutshell, I should have listened to my parents a little bit more, good or bad, man. Like I said, they knew the chemistry to all this. They only wanted the best for me, but we ain't trying to listen. We ain't really trying to listen, but for the most part, hey, they hit it dead on later on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's funny. It's funny how more intelligent your parents become as you get older.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they really knew something. Hey, last one, gentlemen. Again, man, I can't tell you what a phenomenal time this was just having you guys here. But this one, I just really want you to take some time on. If you can take, 10, 20 seconds to really think and just go over your life. We're all different ages, and that's the phenomenal reason why I had everyone on, especially Myron, because Myron joined in at the last minute. I really do appreciate that. I want you to take some time because it's important that young people hear this. And my question to you, because it's so valuable and young people need to hear it, what is one word that describes your life as a black man? What is one word that describes your life as a black man?
Challenging.
I don't know if anybody religious, but I'm just truly blessed to be surrounded by friends and family that like I said, got me through where I'm at today.
Come on, Norm. Come on, man.
Invigorating.
Ooh. Look here, people. Understand this. This is the last series, or this is the last show of this series of relationships. I started this because I really want to do my part of providing some energy for young black males, young females as well. However, I understand the challenge because I am a black man. I lived as a black boy, and there's certain things that we experience that nobody else will. And I'm tired of seeing young brothers fall in the same traps that were there when my uncle was a teenager, and when my cousin was a teenager, and when Myron was a teenager, and I was a teenager, and that those traps are still there. Mm-hmm. I ask myself all the time, why are they there? It's a rhetorical question. I understand why they're there, but I don't want to be passive and sit back and say, well, I know why they're there, but I'm not going to do nothing about it because I'm going to wait for somebody else to do something about it. So that was the whole nature of this month-long series, to bring in black men of all ages from different places to understand and to share their experience. Because one thing that I found out is, as much as I want to help and change the trajectory of our next generation, I can't do it by myself. My story is not for everyone. But what I do understand is that if I can involve more stories, the more opportunity it is for a young person to grab something from all of these different individuals, all of these different black men who have walked that path, who have been down that road, who have lived with their mother or just their father or both their parents or with their grandparents or in an apartment or in a house or in a car or in a hotel room or whatever the case is. And again, all of this is to share and to make sure that at least before I leave this earth, you hear the voices of words that might change your life, to change somebody else's life. Because what I say all the time and the things that I do, I understand I'm not naive that what I'm trying to do with the help of my uncle and my cousin and my player partner Myron, who sits on my board, is an outstanding young man and a pillar in this community, is that it is going to take all of us to do this job. And that's why I bring these men in. Unc, I love you beyond words, my man. I love you truly from the bottom of my heart with every fiber I have in me, man. I want to make sure that people hear that. Cousin, me and you don't talk all the time. I ain't seen you in a moon's age. But when I reach out to you, you gladly and willingly accepted to come on. So I cannot tell you how grateful and humble I am for you to come on and share that. Myron, my man, I want to tell people understand this, how deep Myron is, bro. Me and Myron met because we was playing football many, many years ago when we was younger. And I'm looking at his son who was like 5 years old. I'm like, man, whose kid is this right here? And I end up coaching that man. And so again, I just want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing this. It was powerful.
Anytime.
I hope you got something out of it. You know what I'm saying? And again, man, I'm truly blessed that you guys honored me with this time. Any last words before we shut this thing down?
I want to
Smith,
say.
keep doing what you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you first. Trust me.
Oh, I just wanted to say to the youngsters out there coming up, don't ever, ever, ever do an interview while you're sitting on the toilet.
That is a good changer.
Because your legs will go numb and you can't get up.
Wisdom.
As wisdom. As wisdom.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. Oh my goodness.
Look here, man. Look here. You ain't allowed on the show no more. You ain't allowed on the show no more.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Here comes tomorrow.
thank you.
Here comes tomorrow. Here comes tomorrow. Oh man. Thank you, Unc, for that intelligent insight, man. We appreciate it. Anybody else got anything they want to say?
Hey Smith, keep doing what you're doing, man. Like I said, you're doing you're making a great platform for these youngsters.
Yeah.
And like I said, keep doing what you're doing because nobody else will.
I'm with you all the way, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate
I would just say, hey, you know what? The sun's gonna rise tomorrow, no matter what today look like.
Amen.
Say that.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Rise tomorrow. So just
Absolutely.
keep that in mind when things look dark. Just the sun's gonna rise tomorrow.
Hey, that's it for today. Please join me next Sunday. I'm gonna have a whole different topic, a whole different vibe because I gotta get myself back together now. Hey, listen again, young folks, old folks, if you watching and you listening, man, please share this. It's important. You know what I'm saying? All jokes aside, our young brothers need to hear this. Please share it. Thank you for joining me. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. And until next time, beautiful people, man, you know I love you.
Love you.
Love you all. Thank you.
Right on.